For better or worse, Nintendo has once again become a true behemoth in the gaming industry. It's easy to see why, as they release tremendous games, but only when they are ready to do so. For Nintendo, their exclusive AAA games are almost always incredible. Every time they release a big Zelda or Mario game, it's a given that it will be a Game of the Year contender or winner. And if not, they will still be very fun to play. Nintendo owes everything to their game developers and internal teams that make this all possible. And today, I would like to highlight one of Nintendo's most important studios, if not the most important. One that does not get nearly enough praise from the general gaming audience. Their name, MonolithSoft. Though Nintendo has many talented teams, MonolithSoft stands apart from the rest. First acquired by Nintendo in 2006, MonolithSoft is most well known for their Xenoblade games, known as Xenoblade Chronicles outside of Japan. When it released in 2010, Xenoblade Chronicles was considered one of the best JRPGs of that year and the generation. But why is that game and the others in the series so beloved? Well, Xenoblade games are great for many reasons, such as having excellent music and compelling stories. But more relevant to this video, they are also known to be very ambitious in scope with great open worlds. And this is key to what I'll be discussing later on. The studio is composed of two branches, MonolithSoft Tokyo, which works on original games, and MonolithSoft Kyoto, which supports other Nintendo games development. The original games they put out are not only consistently great, they are also optimized incredibly well for the consoles those games come out on. Xenoblade Chronicles came out on the Wii and looked like this. Xenoblade Chronicles X, an incredibly ambitious open-world game, looked and ran beautifully on the Wii U. And of course there are other examples of their games running excellently on the Switch. But it is not just their games that make MonolithSoft one of Nintendo's most important studios. Rather, it's how they assist in other Nintendo games development. They have supported quite a few well-known games in development by providing artwork, graphic design, and other content as needed. They have worked on Splatoon 1, 2, and 3, various Animal Crossing games such as New Horizons, and older games like Zelda Skyward Sword and Super Smash Bros. Brawl. But there are two games specifically that show how indispensable this studio is. One is Zelda Breath of the Wild, where they assisted with the topographic arrangement in the open world. Topography is an arrangement of physical features in an area, so here it would be the mountains, Hyrule Castle, and other locations. Comparing Breath of the Wild to Xenoblade Chronicles, you can see their influence and design philosophy at play, and how it works quite well in Breath of the Wild to make a great open world. As you traverse the map, you can always see a unique, large landmark in the distance getting closer or further. This type of open-world design is quite common in Xenoblade games. It's a great way of showing the progress a player makes as they get closer to their main objective or a new area they're heading towards. However, MonolithSoft may have had a greater importance in Breath of the Wild's development than it was officially reported, as it was rumored that MonolithSoft's support was instrumental in making sure Breath of the Wild released on time for the Switch's launch. However, it was their work on Tears of the Kingdom that highlights how critically important they are. Unlike Breath of the Wild, this time around MonolithSoft was more heavily involved, at least officially. They assisted with game design, graphics design, and programming. Arguably, this was the most important aspect of the game's development. Tears of the Kingdom had 3 layers of exploration: the ground, the underground called the depths, and the sky. For reference, Breath of the Wild ran pretty well, albeit with some frame drops, but for Tears of the Kingdom to be much more ambitious and run better than Breath of the Wild, this is where MonolithSoft likely made a large difference. Though a direct sequel, it is evident that Tears had to be completely redesigned from Breath of the Wild so that the game could perform well, and it seems quite clear that they redesigned Tears of the Kingdom's design philosophy to match that of Xenoblade. Xenoblade Chronicles X is a great example of that same 3-layered approach to exploration Tears of the Kingdom uses. You can explore the world by foot, then on wheels, and finally by flying. So when MonolithSoft was able to be more hands-on with Tears, they were familiar with how to make this 3-layered approach to exploration not only work in-game, but also run well on the Switch. It is no coincidence that when MonolithSoft was more directly involved with the game design and open world, the sequel looked and ran better compared to Breath of the Wild, where MonolithSoft was not used as much. These are the type of open worlds MonolithSoft creates and are experts in. So, it's likely that Tears of the Kingdom would have ran much worse or would have needed to change its three-layered approach to its game design if MonolithSoft did not assist them. Ultimately, it is their technical prowess that makes them invaluable. They have always utilized the power of Nintendo's consoles incredibly well and can consistently utilize the Switch to its fullest extent when no one else can. Look no further than Pokémon, a franchise that took in $1.9 billion in revenue in just 1 year, reported back in 2024. Nintendo and developer Game Freak released Pokémon Scarlet and Violet, which have sold over 26 million copies, making the two games some of the best-selling titles on the Switch. Now, with the billion-dollar franchise selling extraordinarily well, you would think they'd be pushing the boundaries of what a Switch game could be. Well, they're not. With Scarlet and Violet running absolutely horribly, and Pokémon Legends Arceus looking worse than you'd expect, even for a Switch game, it's quite clear that not just any developer can use the Switch to its potential, even when it's a billion-dollar franchise. But even looking beyond Pokémon, there are plenty of first-party games that do not look great either, and even the ones that do, there's still no comparison. When it comes to MonolithSoft, they're on a different level, and of all Nintendo's development teams, they're one of the best. The good news is that it's obvious Nintendo knows how valuable MonolithSoft is and wants to ensure they are set up for long-term success. In the past year, MonolithSoft officially opened their Kyoto studio, which is going to help alleviate issues they've encountered in the past. To clarify, since around 2011, MonolithSoft's Kyoto branch has been very small. Because of this, the main Tokyo branch would often need to send more of their developers to Kyoto to help assist with other Nintendo games. This sometimes created problems, as those developers working on MonolithSoft's own games would be pulled away. For example, Xenoblade 2 suffered from various issues and bugs at release because a huge amount of developers were pulled away to work on Breath of the Wild. To put it in perspective, MonolithSoft reportedly had 150 employees as of December 2017 when Xenoblade 2 released. However, they reportedly only had 40 employees working on Xenoblade 2 by the end of its development, showing the huge problem with using MonolithSoft to assist with other larger Nintendo games. Though MonolithSoft had grown to over 200 employees in the following years, the recent announcement of a formal Kyoto studio is telling. It highlights that Nintendo does not want to stretch MonolithSoft too thin. Instead, they want to invest in a dedicated Kyoto studio that can attract more talent, which will in turn help the studio grow larger. A smart move by Nintendo, a move that will help out both them and MonolithSoft in the long term. MonolithSoft has solidified themselves as one of the most important game studios for Nintendo. Though their games may not sell like Mario or Pokemon would, it does not matter. They produce great games that people love and provide invaluable support for Nintendo. So, here's to them for being not only an incredible Nintendo studio, but one of the best studios in the current industry. Thank you all for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.